growing divide within the Republican Party is putting the future of the GOP's budget proposal in jeopardy, with a number of lawmakers voicing concerns over its significant cuts to Medicaid. Medicaid, a vital healthcare program that serves over 72 million Americans, is facing proposed reductions amounting to $880 billion over the next decade. These cuts have sparked a fierce debate within the Republican ranks, with some lawmakers warning that voting for the budget could alienate their constituents and jeopardize their political futures. Rep. Jeff Van Drew, a former Democrat from New Jersey who switched parties and became a staunch supporter of President Donald Trump, is one of the key Republicans threatening to vote against the party's proposed budget plan. In an interview with Time, Van Drew made it clear that he cannot support the budget in its current form, citing the severe impact the Medicaid cuts could have on working-class Americans. Working-class people receive Medicaid because they are working, Van Drew said. This is not just lazy people who are sitting around not doing their job. The issue at hand is not just a matter of policy. It has become a political flashpoint that could significantly affect the GOP's standing heading into future elections. With a narrow majority in the House of Representatives, the fate of the budget and the risk of a government shutdown now hinges on resolving these internal divisions. The conundrum for Trump and the GOP, the tension around the Medicaid cuts, is especially fraught because it directly contradicts President Trump's long-standing rhetoric regarding entitlement programs. Throughout his political career, Trump has positioned himself as a defender of programs like Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. In 2017, he made a vow to voters that he would not cut Medicaid, promising that his administration would love and cherish these safety net programs. However, just days after reiterating his commitment to preserving Medicaid, Trump endorsed the GOP-led House budget proposal, which includes sweeping cuts to the program. This apparent contradiction has left some Republicans feeling caught in a difficult position, torn between their loyalty to the president and the political realities of representing districts where Medicaid is crucial for their constituents' well-being. Rep. Van Drew said he called President Trump on Monday evening to express his concerns about the proposed Medicaid cuts. During their conversation, Van Drew emphasized that he could not support a budget that jeopardizes access to health care for vulnerable Americans. Trump, according to Van Drew, was understanding but did not urge him to change his mind or push back on the cuts. I told him I very well may not vote for this, and I'm certainly waiting until the last minute to see if some changes can be made, because I'm very unhappy, Van Drew recalled. He listened and he understood my concerns. For Van Drew, this issue is personal. His district in South Jersey is home to a significant number of Medicaid recipients, and he has been facing mounting pressure from constituents who are deeply concerned about the potential loss of their health coverage. Van Drew believes that Trump's position on Medicaid could come back to haunt him, particularly if the cuts go through. I believe it's bad for him because he made a commitment, Van Drew said, referring to Trump's repeated promises to protect Medicaid. He's at risk of breaking that promise. The uncertainty surrounding Trump's stance on Medicaid cuts has created a ripple effect within the GOP. Several lawmakers are beginning to question whether voting for the budget proposal will alienate the very voters who helped secure Trump's victories in key swing states. As the divide deepens, some Republican lawmakers fear that endorsing the Medicaid cuts could lead to significant political consequences in the 2026 midterm elections. Republican resistance and pushback as the GOP struggles to unite around the budget a growing number of lawmakers are speaking out against the proposed cuts to Medicaid. Some Republicans, such as Rep. Nick Begich of Alaska, where a third of the population is enrolled in Medicaid, have expressed their concerns about the impact of the cuts on the most vulnerable Americans. I want to make sure that our nation's most vulnerable populations continue to be supported by programs like Medicaid, Begich said. While he did not commit to a specific vote, Begich emphasized the importance of preserving Medicaid for those who rely on it for essential health care services. Rep. Tony Gonzalez of Texas, who represents a district with a large Hispanic population and significant Medicaid enrollment, co-authored a letter with 7 other House Republicans, urging Speaker Mike Johnson to reconsider the cuts to the program. Gonzalez is committed to ensuring that Medicaid remains intact while still working to reduce waste and fraud in the system. We will cut waste and fraud while investing in our national security, without pulling the rug out from under millions of Americans, Gonzalez said, after a meeting with Speaker Johnson. Despite these vocal objections, Speaker Johnson and other GOP leaders continue to push for the budget's passage. Johnson plans to hold a vote on the measure, which calls for $2 trillion in cuts over a decade, on Tuesday. However, the proposal faces an uphill battle, particularly as more Republicans with high Medicaid enrollment in their districts are voicing their opposition to the cuts. With the House majority so slim, the GOP can afford only a few defections, making it increasingly unlikely that the budget will pass in its current form. Johnson expressed optimism on Monday, stating that the discussions around the budget were productive and that the GOP was on track to pass the measure. "We're having very productive conversations," Johnson told reporters. "This is all part of the process, and I think we're on track." However, the internal divisions within the party could have serious consequences. If the GOP fails to pass the budget, the government could face a shutdown in mid-March, just as Republicans head into the 2026 election cycle. The politics of Medicaid cuts. The stakes are high for both the GOP and the Democrats. A government shutdown would provide the Democrats with a prime opportunity to capitalize on Republican divisions and rally opposition to the Medicaid cuts. Democrats are already preparing to take advantage of the situation, with advocacy groups like Protect Our Care launching a $10 million campaign aimed at protecting Medicaid from cuts. The group has already begun running ads on Fox News, urging constituents to contact their representatives and voice their opposition to the proposed reductions. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has made it clear that Democrats will hold Republicans accountable if they vote for the budget. According to Jeffries, the GOP's support for the Medicaid cuts would be a betrayal of the promises they made to address the affordability crisis facing American families. If Republicans vote for the budget, they're going to be held accountable for raising expectations that they were going to solve the affordability crisis in America and doing the exact opposite, Jeffries said. Senator John Fetterman, a Democrat from Pennsylvania, was even more direct in his condemnation of the proposed cuts, calling them unacceptable. He warned Republicans that continuing to push for the cuts would further damage their political brand, especially in swing states where Medicaid is a crucial issue for voters. If they want to further damage their brand, that's their prerogative, Fetterman said. As the debate over Medicaid cuts intensifies, the GOP finds itself at a crossroads. Party leaders must navigate the competing pressures from fiscal conservatives, who are eager to reduce government spending, and moderates, who fear the political fallout from alienating Medicaid recipients. At the same time, they must contend with the promises made by Trump during his campaign and presidency to protect entitlement programs. Rep. Van Drew encapsulated the internal struggle that many Republicans are facing as they weigh the costs and benefits of supporting the budget. It's not like I'm being soft or don't think we need to change a whole lot of stuff. Van Drew said, "I'm one of these people that was caught in the middle that wants to do the right thing by real people." Looking ahead with just days to go before the vote, the future of the GOP's budget proposal remains uncertain. The outcome of the vote could have profound implications for the party's unity and its chances of holding on to the House majority in 2026. As more Republicans speak out against the Medicaid cuts, the GOP's strategy of balancing fiscal austerity with the preservation of popular entitlement programs will be put to the test. The coming days will be critical for Republicans as they work to resolve these internal divisions and pass a budget that can secure both their political future and the stability of the nation's finances. However, as the stakes grow higher, one thing is clear: the fate of Medicaid is far from certain, and the political fallout from any cuts could be felt for years to come.